everybody. Marie Reyes again with our recap of Real Housewives of Dallas, episode 10, our finale. So, obviously, before we get started talking about this particular show, I wanted to say a few words about the tragedy in Orlando. It is incredibly painful to have a situation like this. I can't even imagine what the victims' families and loved ones are going through right now, and especially, under the circumstances of it being a hate crime. And a lot of tonight's episode, we talk about intolerance and bullying and hate, things like that. So it sort of goes right in line with what this episode was all about, and how desperate I think it is for our society to rid the intolerance and the hate so that we don't end up with more tragedies like we had on Sunday in Orlando. So big kisses, hugs, and prayers to those people who were affected in that incident Sunday night. And then we'll move on to recapping this episode. I really liked going to the Byron Nelson a lot. I used to actually work on that golf course when I was in nursing school, so I drove that course a lot. I ran the little beverage cart, and when the Byron Nelson comes to town, it is a huge deal. Huge amounts of people, buses, there are people walking the course, there are all these parties. It's a really exciting, fun thing. So Stephanie and Travis are focused on this wonderful party that they're going to have, which they have every year at their house, where they, like as Stephanie says, we just blow a bunch of money to see our friends get drunk. And it is a lot more than that. It is, I think, something that everybody looks forward to. That's one of their friends. I think they see that as an annual get-together. And, it is a lot of fun. And sometimes we end up with fabulous weather, like the day that we had when we were there, which makes it all the better. So definitely enjoyable. I thought it was great for Stephanie because she completed the entire party without a list. So, big claps on the no list for Stephanie. And hopefully that has continued, as oddly enough, I talk to her all the time and I have not asked her about the list situation, but I have a feeling that there haven't been any lists. I will definitely look into that and get back, but I think they are. Brandy and Brian had a really nice moment with the kids. I thought it was really touching, their scenes at the bowling alley and just seeing them unite as a family. I mentioned earlier in the season that I always felt that Brian was really just focused on work. I didn't feel at all that he was trying to avoid, say for instance, that barbecue that they had at the house when her grandfather came. I really got the feeling that he just wasn't as comfortable maybe sharing his life as publicly as Brandy was. It certainly was wonderful to see them as a family unit, happy, smiling. I loved it when the girls were like, where are you going, Daddy? And he's like, nowhere, I'm staying right here. So I think that's a wonderful thing, and I'm so glad that we got to see that part, that little sneak peek into their relationship in that moment. And the scenes between Leanne and Tiffany are hard for me because I never knew that Tiffany didn't like me prior to watching this episode. So the fact that she had made it quite clear, verbally telling Brandy that she didn't like me, was news to me. I just didn't know. I had done things with Tiffany throughout the years when she came to town, and we always got along just fine. Of course, she didn't live here, so she was in town for a few days. Maybe we had coffee with Leanne or went to a function, but so that was difficult for me. It's also difficult that here we are at this fabulous party, everyone's having a good time, there are tons of people to mingle and talk to, fabulous food, and Tiffany has to decide to bring Leanne into a conflict situation with me because I'm having fun laughing and talking to Carrie and Stephanie and Brandy and a couple other friends of theirs. I just don't understand why me laughing and having fun with people is, reason to bring up something that was awkward and uncomfortable for Leanne to begin with. But we rehashed the poop story again. So I don't know if you could tell by my face in that scene, but I'm just over it at that point. We dealt with it about a week sooner. I completely said I had nothing to do it. I offered to take a lie detector test even. I, continue to, say that there's absolutely no way it came from me. I've only known Taylor 3 years. I did not tell him that story. And, it came to my attention a few weeks after, because again, we only had like 5 or 6 days between Austin and then the Byron Nelson. It came to my attention when I had individual phone calls with Brandy and Stephanie shortly thereafter that all along Tiffany had told the poop story to them. So Taylor made this little comment, this off-color comment, because he'd seen an episode of Bethany Frankel peeing in a bucket in her wedding dress. And then the next thing, they're all excited, and Tiffany ended up spilling the beans on a real story, which, like I said, in hindsight, I would have never thought that Leanne would have been that embarrassed by something like that. She certainly does a lot of things and talks about a lot of things that I think a lot of people would find much more embarrassing than having a bathroom incident. But it doesn't matter. The point remains the same. Leanne was very, very hurt by that situation. And for me, the unfortunate part is I was very, very hurt by that situation as well. So the pain, that embarrassment that Leanne had then got turned on me in last week's episode where she threatened to kill me. So all along, Tiffany was the one who had, told the story, but also kept trying desperately to get me to admit to it, and still feels that way, I believe. So I don't know, maybe I should go take the lie detector test. I'm not currently friends with either one of them, so I don't know as though those results matter, but maybe they matter to the rest of the world. So it's certainly something that I'm interested in doing if people think that might make them feel more comfortable with the fact that I didn't do it. I don't know, it just seems like such a strange situation to end a friendship on. Of all the things in life, I didn't sleep with her boyfriend or, do anything tragic. And I didn't tell the poop story either, but I'm just saying that of all things, that was the thing that ended the relationship, which is sad. It's just sad. I will always love Leanne, and we had many, many wonderful, wonderful moments together over the 19 years. And like I said, she's at my wedding. She was there for me when I went through my divorce. She was at the birth of my daughter. So there are milestones in both of our lives that we share, and I will never forget. So it is unfortunate. I see that Tiffany and Aaron decided not to get the house, or they lost out on it. Sometimes in those neighborhoods where things are going really fast and they're at good prices, they go really fast. So I don't know what the situation, with them going forward, if this is the right city for them or not. I think it would be best for certainly some of us if they moved either to Houston, where her dad is, or to Nashville, where Aaron can play music. But that is their life, and not anything to do with me. I did like the emotional, sincere talk that Leanne has with Rich. I could tell him, knowing her, that she was truly overwhelmed about her anger, and that the anger gets the best of her, and she doesn't really understand it, and she's at least open to the idea of getting help for it, which I certainly hope she has been doing, because I have a feeling Leanne's like a snowball effect in an avalanche. One little thing, and then it ricochets to a whole bunch of different people. So in my mind, if Leanne's happy and healthy, then a lot of other people, 1 or 2 degrees of separation, are going to have life easier too. So I do wish her much happiness and health, and I hope she is taking care of that situation like she said she was. And on that, oh, Carrie, I haven't talked about Carrie yet. So yes, Carrie talking about vacationing in Switzerland still for the summer, but the biggest issue with Carrie, which is brought up by Leanne through the grapevine, was that, again, back to the questions about her marriage and whether or not they, I guess, had an alleged affair or not. And I'm like so over that. It's like they've been married 6 years, they have a 3-year-old child, they, for all I can see, look to have a very happy, good, loving relationship. So it doesn't matter to me what transpired when, but they've been very clear that Mark was legally separated, and then their relationship changed from professional to more than friends. So, but anyway, I want to leave that with Carrie. I definitely respect Carrie for sticking up for the bullying. She recognized and she pointed out the definition of bullying. I actually put the definition of bullying on my blog post tonight, where you can see that. It is something that I personally was affected by in Austin. I was bullied, and it was a horrible feeling. Also a horrible feeling coming from somebody that you love. And Carrie just so well, brought that, to the camera, that it is an issue. And when anybody has or perceives that they have that sense of power over you, it can be catastrophic for both the person getting bullied and the bullier themselves. So check out my blog and you'll see that link. And any questions before we end? I mean, this is the season finale. Yes, we have the reunion coming up, but this is my last blog post. So unless I do one after the reunion, we'll see if you guys want to. So any questions? Anything coming through?
Who are you wearing tonight?
Halston again. And I didn't plan that. I know I wore Halston last week too. Totally unplanned. I actually wore this dress because it is built into my Rags to Riches skincare line. So this dress was used in my promotional video, and the biggest thing that I wanted to do with my participation was support the friends that I had going into this show. And number two, I wanted to finally do my dream, which was to create my own very scientific, very specific private label skincare line. And I finally accomplished that. I worked on it for 1.5 years, and we had the launch party on Thursday. There's some pictures up if you haven't seen them. They're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. They're wonderful, and the event was fabulous, and I couldn't be more happy and excited about my skincare line. I've been preaching it for years, like 15 years, the 4 essentials for skincare: the retinol, the antioxidant, the growth factor, and the sunscreen. Those 4 essentials, and that's exactly what I've done. I've taken the best of everything you can put in them, and I put them, all 4 together. So that was, so the Halston was just coincidental. I don't know why. I don't always wear Halston every day, but it is a beautiful gown, and I loved the pink last week too. I hope you guys did as well. So yes, I'm so happy about the skincare line, and I was kind of just giving a thumbs up to both the end of the season and, my dreams. Like I said, the 2 that I had going into this project, both supporting my friends, didn't really end so well. But I made new friends, and I think that that's one of the things I take away from this experience. I lost 2 friends, but I gained 3 more. So I have to look at the bright side of that, even though there is some sadness in my heart. And I'm gonna miss this. It's been really, really fun. Any other questions before we say goodnight?
Where can you get your skincare?
My skincare is available at mariereyes.com. You can go there, and there's a link to the shopping cart. And it's also a link from skinSpaMed.com, my business. As well as, if you happen to live in Dallas, you can always stop in either one of my locations and purchase in the store.
What is your biggest regret and biggest accomplishment you were proud of?
My biggest regret is that I didn't question more about the poop story the minute I heard it. I did call Taylor, but I didn't get anything other than, I don't know, I said something silly about poop because they like poop a lot. And I knew I didn't tell the story, and I knew there were only 3 people that night. So logically, I knew it had to be Tiffany, but I didn't know that Stephanie and Brandy would, tell me that. So I wish I'd done a little more investigation. That way you guys could have seen that confrontation on camera. If I had the time and done those phone calls, I would have known that she was behind it the whole time, but yet, adamantly pinning it on me. So that's my biggest regret. I maybe should have called 911 and left in Austin. That's also something that I toy with, whether or not that's a regret or not. And then biggest accomplishment, honestly, I think my skincare line. I mean, I worked on it continuously the whole time we were filming. I was working on it. Even the day that Leanne and Tiffany came over to handle the text gate, I actually had gotten my first alpha testers, and that's what I thought they were coming over for. Hence the the really funny headband. I was like all decked out in the rose gold, and I was excited about getting their feedback, and that was not at all why they came over. Silly me. So, but yes, I'm really proud of the skincare line, and I wanted to come off intelligent, classy, and loyal. And unfortunately, I think I managed to accomplish all of those with the exception of the loyalty one, and it wasn't of any fault of my own. So, yeah. Any other questions?
If you could go back in time and give advice to yourself in episode 1 during filming, what would it be?
Oh boy, what would it be? Don't invite Taylor to the cocktail party. Yes, I think that would be it. Don't invite Taylor to the cocktail party, because that really started a shitstorm for real. Oh my goodness, there would have to be a real shakeup in the cast for me to want to participate again. I have a very active life with obviously my family and my business. I don't need the money. I enjoyed being in a collaborative project. Unfortunately, when that collaborative project then caused me great struggle and emotional discomfort, it became very quickly not worth it for me. So yes, if the right people were involved, absolutely, I would like to be part of it. But that all depends on if they even, green light a season 2 and who the potential participants might be.
What can you say about the reunion?
Well, there were a couple teasers. The reunion is very emotional. I will just say that I never saw Carrie cry at all. She always was so strong and held to her guns. Like she was really, had her stuff, and she had been, I think, holding so much anger and frustration in for an entire year. By the time we got to the reunion, I think the dam just broke. So it is a very emotional reunion taping. I have no idea how editing manages to take 5.5 hours and whittle that down to an hour with commercials. So it's going to be interesting to see what parts they kept. I am personally hoping that they keep the part where Stephanie and Brandy completely call Tiffany out for being the person who told them the poop story, because obviously that's the vindication for me, and I'm getting a little tired of being called a liar and a betrayer every week on the radio when they go on the radio. So I would like to at least have that vindicated so that everybody can see that it wasn't me after all, even though threatening to kill somebody over something as silly as poop is beyond words crazy. So we'll just, yeah. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for this season. It has been wonderful doing this, and I really appreciate all the support you've given me. And cheers, people.